Good evening, scholars, parents, guardians, and colleagues in education. I am Raymond Harrod, Dual Enrollment Program Manager here at Prince George's Community College. Welcome to part two of our Dual Enrollment series. During our last session, we discussed the benefits of earning college credits at Prince George's Community College while attending high school, how to connect with your coast advisor or PGCC dual enrollment representative for support with selecting courses. We heard from Professor Jamelia Phillips, one of our amazing English faculty and coast advisors. And we heard from Ms. Tawana Terry, our dual in the school program manager, who spoke about opportunities to take dual enrollment courses at your high school. If you missed that session, check out our YouTube page to catch up. Next slide, please. Tonight, we will discuss understanding your eligibility, how to apply in dual enrollment spring courses, introduce you to the PGCC's dual enroll site, and provide some transfer tips for you. Once again, my colleagues are in the chat, eagerly waiting to answer your questions. So any questions that you have in the chat, please submit them, and my colleagues will help to answer those questions, including Ms. Tawana Terry from our Dual in the School program. Before we begin, again, we want to get you acclimated with using that chat feature, and I see some folks have already got in and begin to shout out their high schools that they represent. But students and parents and staff, we want you again to shout out your high school, and we're going to make sure we give you a shout out on screen. Mr. Brady, the coach advisor for Duval High School, is in the house. I see you, Mr. Brady. Welcome, Ms. Courtney Throw, the program director for our recruitment and outreach here at Prince George's Community College, shouting out to Ratsville High School tonight. Go Hornets, the real one. We have Ms. Keisha Sprinshaw, coach advisor for Eleanor Roosevelt High School, who is shouting out the Raiders. Do we have anybody else in the chat who wants to shout out your high school today? I'm pretty sure Oxford Hill High School is in the chat, home of the Raiders. Are the Suitland Rams in the house? Are the Central Eagles here? Anybody from Henry Wise, Bowie High School, Laurel High School, whatever high school you represent, we want to welcome you to tonight's information session, and we hope that you will find this session to be very informative. Next slide, please. Now, let's do a refresher of who qualifies for dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is open to Prince George's County High School juniors and seniors who have at least a 2.5 cumulative GPA. Those students who qualify with a 2.5 cumulative GPA must also have a minimum AccuPlacer, SAT, or ACT score to qualify to take dual enrollment courses. As an alternate, students may qualify with a 3.0 cumulative unweighted GPA from their high school. However, there may be some course limitations. For juniors qualifying with only a 3.0 or higher cumulative unweighted GPA, you are eligible to take courses with no prerequisite requirements. For seniors, you have satisfied reading and writing readiness at the college if you have successfully completed English 11 and you're qualified to take English 1010 at Prince George's Community College. Seniors may also qualify for math courses with a 3.0 cumulative unweighted GPA after successful completion of Algebra 2. The other option is to qualify for courses with eligible test scores. In order to be considered proficient in reading, writing, or math, students must achieve one of these minimum scores. Next generation reading, AccuPlacer reading, 254 or above. AccuPlacer right placer, 5 or more. Math readiness is determined by quantitative reasoning, algebra, and statistics score of 263 or above. Advanced algebra and function score of 240 or above. Or students could utilize their SAT with a 480 or above in evidence-based reading and writing, or 530 or higher in SAT math, or a 21 in ACT reading, ACT English, and ACT math. Keep in mind, you only need to be proficient or have the minimum score in one of those sections to qualify for dual enrollment with at least a 2.5 GPA. As a dual enrollment student, you are real college students and are held to the same academic standards as all other college students. The general expectations are you must demonstrate readiness to meet academic expectations. You are strongly encouraged to meet with your PGCC, coast advisor, or dual enrollment representative for selection of your courses prior to requesting courses in dual enroll. Students will be taking real college classes, receiving real grades, and meeting real college students, professors, and staff. Students, you have to take ownership and accountability for your learning. You must advocate for yourselves, and you must also adhere to both the PGCC and Prince George's County Public Schools academic calendars. This means that you may have college classes even when PGCPS schools are closed, or vice versa. The impact of this: it strengthens your aspirations as well as confidence in academic areas. It increases the probability of students attaining a college degree. And you are actually adding to your college and potentially your high school transcript as a part of your permanent record. So you want to make sure that you're successful. We want dual enrollment students to be successful in their experience. So in addition to these expectations, we want you to know that as Prince George's Community College students, you also can benefit from the student support services available to all other college students. Services such as the Tutoring and Writing Center, Math Learning Center, Disability Support Service, and mentoring groups like Diverse Male Student Initiative and Women of Wisdom. Students, if you need help, there's a resource here to assist you. Now, we have a number of ways to determine which courses are best to take. Next slide, please. We encourage all students to speak with their coast advisor or Prince George's Community College dual enrollment representative. These professionals are able to assist you with the best course options just for you. Students also have the option to review our recommended courses by academic area of interest and review our college catalog, which provides course descriptions, outcomes, and prerequisites. This information will also be available in Dual Enroll, the platform that you will use to apply and request dual enrollment courses. Don't jump ahead yet. We're going to talk about Dual Enroll later in the presentation. There are also dual credit options. These courses allow students to earn both high school and college credit at the same time. One of our most popular dual credit courses is English 1010, which, if passed, satisfies the student's high school English 12 requirement. Many students wish to take dual enrollment courses and transfer them to Maryland to colleges and universities. The articulation system for Maryland colleges and universities, or ArcSys, is a great tool to use to determine transferability in the state of Maryland. Now, there's some information that we provided about eligibility for courses, and we want to take some time to test your knowledge of these types of courses. The dual enrollment recommended courses based on academic area of interest is going to be available on our website, www.pgcc.edu/go/high school. So we encourage students to go onto our website and review this document as you begin to have conversations with your coast advisor about which courses you should take. We're going to look at a couple of student examples on the next slide to determine whether a student is eligible for participation in dual enrollment and what types of courses they're interested in. So our first example, we have Max. Max is interested in dual enrollment. Is he eligible? Has he met reading, writing, and or math readiness? And if we look at the test results for Max, Max has a right placer score of five. He has a next generation reading score of 263, and he has a next generation quantitative reasoning, algebra, and statistics score of 235. The question is Max eligible for dual enrollment, and has he met the reading, writing, or math readiness? Next slide, please. Let's take a closer look at this. Let's look at our guide for course eligibility. Notice again, Max has a right placer score of 5, a next generation reading score of 263, and a QRAS math score of 235. Let's see if Max qualifies for dual enrollment. If you answered B, yes, You are correct. Max has met the reading and writing readiness. Unfortunately, he did not meet the math readiness requirements. Remember, in order to qualify for reading readiness at Prince George's Community College, students must have a 254 or above on the next generation reading, and Max has a 263. And for students to qualify for writing readiness at Prince George's Community College, students must have a 5 or above. Remember, for our math requirement, Max would have needed a 263 or above to qualify for math courses. So Max only qualifies for courses that require reading and writing. Well, he qualifies for reading and writing and readiness. Next slide, please. Let's say Max is interested in pursuing a career in public safety and law. Programs of study like law enforcement, law, firefighters, paramedics, criminal justice. Max can take any course on this list that has a prerequisite listed as reading and or writing readiness or prerequisite of none. So if we look at this list, we see that Max can take Introduction to Information Technology, Composition 1, Expository Writing, Introduction to Criminal Justice, Introduction to Sociology, Foundations of Communication, as well as Interpersonal Communication. So even though Max didn't qualify for dual enrollment with a math score, there are still a number of courses that Max could take. Next slide, please. Now let's look at Samantha. Samantha is a rising junior with a 3.89 cumulative unweighted GPA. She has no test scores, but she's interested in dual enrollment. First, let's determine if Samantha is eligible for participation in dual enrollment. And then let's determine whether or not she has met reading or writing readiness. So let's think about Samantha. Samantha, remember, has no test score, so we don't have that chart to read that, but she is a rising 11th grader. She has a cumulative unweighted GPA of 3.89. As a reminder, as rising juniors and juniors, you qualify for courses with no prerequisites. Examples of courses like that are Communications 1010 or Introduction to Communication, Introduction to Information Technology, and General Psychology, for example. Next slide, please. Therefore, Samantha does qualify for dual enrollment based on her cumulative unweighted GPA of 3.89, but she's limited to courses with no prerequisite requirements. Next slide. Now, even though Samantha has not met the reading, writing, and math readiness requirements for Prince George's Community College, you can see that she still qualifies for some courses, even if she's interested in fields like allied health and nursing, including our nursing, healthcare, and other programs of study. We can see from this that Samantha qualifies for our Foundations of Communication, General Psychology, and Introduction to Sociology. So she can take any of these courses that have no prerequisite requirement. And these 3 courses also happen to be dual credit. So in addition to earning college credit, she can also earn high school credit for these courses. Up next, let's look at Brandon and see what Brandon qualifies for. Brandon is a rising senior with a 3.25 cumulative unweighted GPA. He has no test scores and has completed English 11 already and Algebra 2. He is interested in taking dual enrollment courses. Is Brandon eligible? Has he met reading, writing, and or math readiness? Next slide, please. Again, Brandon is a rising 12th grader or senior. He has a cumulative unweighted GPA of 3.25. While he doesn't have any test scores, he has completed English 11 and Algebra 2. Remember that as seniors and rising seniors, you have satisfied reading, writing, and math readiness if you have completed English 11 and you have completed Algebra 2. Next slide. Therefore, yes, Brandon has met reading, writing, and math readiness, and he is eligible to take English 1010, and he can take math courses at Prince George's Community College up to Pre-Calculus Part 1. If Brandon was interested in the field of information technology, he could take several courses. He could take Introduction to Information Technology. He could take English 1010, as well as Mathematical Ideas. And these are courses that we recommend students start out with if you're interested in our technology pathway. As a reminder, Prince George's Community College, like most colleges and universities, will superscore or mix and match your test scores and GPA for the highest placement possible. If you want assistance with this, please reach out to your PGCC Coast advisor or dual enrollment representative by visiting www.pgcc.edu/coast. Next slide, please. Now, I know you're anxious to find out how you can apply for dual enrollment, and we're going to get into that now. Next slide, please. Dual enroll is the official application method and registration request source for dual enrollment courses here at Prince George's Community College. Please do not use any other method to request registration or apply for dual enrollment courses. Doing so could result in you being asked to drop your courses or you having to pay for your college courses in full out of pocket. For the spring 2023 semester, the PGCC dual enroll site will open on Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Students will receive an email from MD Completion Act at pgcc.edu when the site opens with an invitation link to complete your application and submit your course requests. Application and course requests for spring 2023 are due on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. Let's do a quick review of the cost for dual enrollment here at Prince George's Community College. The most exciting thing about this opportunity is that tuition is free. However, keep in mind that there are more expenses that are associated with being a college student. You must, however, pay for course-related fees and for textbooks. Prince George's Community College currently has two fees. We have an instructional services fee of $47 per credit hour and a registration fee of $25 per semester, which if you're taking a 3-credit course is just about $166 for a 3-credit course. So that would be your out-of-pocket expense for participating in dual enrollment. Fees and textbooks are covered only for students who are farm students and have been identified as such by the Prince George's County Public Schools Food and Nutrition Services. So for students who are interested in considering that eligibility, we encourage you to complete the free and reduced meals application with the Prince George's County Public School Food and Nutrition Services to determine eligibility. Now, when you get into the application, there are a number of things that you're going to have to complete before that November 22nd deadline. The first thing you must do is to complete your application, which is submitted through the dual enroll invitation link that will be in your PGCPS email. Again, students, please only utilize this site to apply and request courses for dual enrollment. New students will need to complete new students will need to activate your OwlLink account and complete new student orientation. If you're a continuing dual enrollment student, you've already activated your OwlLink account and you've already completed your new student orientation, so there's no need to do those steps again. All students for the spring 2023 semester will be required to get consent from your parent to participate in the program. And then you will also make your course request for the spring 2023 semester through the dual enroll site only. Again, please don't use any other method to request courses for the spring term. Continuing students should log in using their existing dual enroll username and password. If you do not remember your credentials, click Forgot Your Username or Password to retrieve them. Remember that you are required to use a personal email address when creating your dual enroll account. Upon logging in, please be sure to review your address, phone number, parent contact information, and your high school information, including your current high school and professional school counselor. New students will need to click to create an account. Please be sure to use a personal email address and not your PGCPS issued email address when creating your account. As a heads up, you will need to know your PGCPS student ID number, parent's name, email address, and phone number, and your counselor's name when creating your account in dual enroll. It will be a good idea to gather this information prior to the application open date of November 9th. Once in the system, you will be able to search and request the spring 2023 courses that you discussed with your COAST advisor or PGCC dual enrollment representative. Notice that you can search by course name, title, location, and format. For those of you who attend a high school that offers dual in the school courses, you should select the high school filter to search for those sections. And those are the high schools that were mentioned by Ms. Terry in our last information session. Next slide, please. I'm sorry, right there. As you are selecting courses, pay close attention to the section's location, meeting days and times, and start and end dates. Some of our classes will start at the beginning of the semester on January 23rd. Others will be accelerated courses that start later in the term. So pay close attention to those start dates and also your meeting days and times. Also consider the course format. Only continuing students who have earned 6 or more college credits at PGCC with a 2.5 or greater college GPA will be allowed to take fully online sections. All students have the ability to take face-to-face, hybrid, or remote course sections. As you look at the time of day that the course is offered, remember that as a dual enrollment student, you are not permitted to take courses during your regular scheduled PGCPS school day unless it is a dual in the school course. So again, students, you are not allowed to take dual enrollment courses while you are scheduled to be in your PGCPS course, your PGCPS school day. You can only take classes before if you have a half day or after you have a half day, but you cannot, your dual enrollment courses are not allowed to interfere with your regular school day and vice versa. I know that this overview was quite a bit of information for you, but I want you to review this and other videos about dual enrollment on the college's YouTube page. Once on our YouTube page, navigate to the PGCC Dual Enrollment Program playlist for this session and other information, including a more detailed introduction to PGCC's Dual Enroll site. Now, let's look at our timeline. On October 20th, we held our first dual enrollment information session, which is now available on that YouTube site. Tonight's session will be retained on the YouTube site as well. Now through November 8th, and even previously, you should have been engaged in advising appointments with your COAST advisor. Our dual enrollment application window will run from November 9th through November 22nd. This means that students, your first opportunity to register for to apply for dual enrollment and request courses is November 9th. You won't be able to get into the system prior to that. The key to knowing when the application is open is when you receive an email from MD Completion Act at pgcc.edu to your PGCPS email address with an invitation link to apply and request registration for your spring 2023 dual enrollment courses. Keep in mind your application, new student orientation, if applicable, and parent consent are all due to complete your enrollment steps by November 22nd, 2022. On November 16th, Prince George's County Public Schools will hold a dual enrollment question and answer session for those of you who have some additional questions about the dual enrollment process for Prince George's County Public Schools. Our payment deadline for the spring semester is January 12th, 2023, and that's prior to the start of the semester. On January 19th, 2023, our team is organizing a Jumpstart orientation to further share with you information about the student support services available here at Prince George's Community College, because it is our desire that you are successful in all of your dual enrollment courses. And that brings us to the start of the semester, January 23rd, 2023. Now, some of you may be wondering, what are the benefits to participating in dual enrollment? So what happens after dual enrollment? Well, there are many benefits to participating, some of which you can experience right after high school graduation. Next slide, please. For students who are interested in coming to Prince George's Community College, you have the opportunity to finish your associate degree after high school graduation at a reduced rate by way of our Promise Scholarship and many of our other scholarships that we offer here at Prince George's Community College. As a reminder, dual enrollment is not designed for students to earn an associate degree, but it can potentially provide a pathway for students to come to Prince George's Community College to complete your degree. Next slide, please. What is the basic transfer process? Institutions will request that you submit your official college transcript, which after graduation you can request from our registrar's office, so that you can have your credits that you took through dual enrollment transferred to your colleges or universities. Request the official transcript from PGCC through our link for it to be considered official by the receiving institution. The transcript will be reviewed by the receiving institution, and they will decide which courses will transfer and how they will transfer in. So how do you plan these courses for transfer? First, you want to decide the possible target schools. Now is a great time to begin to think about what college you plan to attend after high school. You can begin communication with these schools. You can begin looking at their academic programs of study, and you can begin to look at communicating with their enrollment and their admissions and enrollment staff and advisors to determine what courses you should take through dual enrollment. You can also check out the recommended courses list provided by Prince George's Community College. As mentioned earlier, you can check online for transferability information through the ArtSys system. For students who plan to attend a college or university outside of the state of Maryland, your classes are transferable, but we do encourage you to visit that college's website or meet with their admissions staff to determine transferability. Remember that the receiving institution determines the transferability of courses. So let's talk about some transfer tips. Most institutions only transfer grades of C or better. So it's very important that you take your dual enrollment courses very seriously and do the very best you can, including utilizing our student support services. All degree programs require some general education courses such as English, math, science, and social sciences. Courses such as psychology, sociology, and humanities courses like art, foreign language, and speech or communication. Pay special attention to the math requirements. Does the target degree program require calculus-based math, statistics? Because not every math course will work for every degree program. If you plan to attend an out-of-state institution, save copies of your PGCC course syllabi because the new institution may need them for a transfer evaluation. So I want to again remind you of our dual enrollment timeline. Starting tomorrow, when you enter your high schools, find out who your dual enrollment coast advisor is or your PGCC dual enrollment representative is, so that you can begin to talk to them about your desire to participate in dual enrollment and the courses that are available to you. On November 9th, the dual enrollment application will open. Again, you will receive an invitation link in your email to begin the application process through Prince George's Community College's dual enroll site. Application information is going to be due by November 22nd. We want to invite you back on November 16th for the PGCPS question and answer session. And then we want to remind you about our January 12th spring payment deadline and remind you that the spring semester begins January 23rd. So keep these dates in mind as you proceed with the dual enrollment process. At this time, we want to open the chat for you to ask any questions that you have. Again, I have my colleagues in the chat who are answering your questions, and I'll be willing to bring a few questions live for me to answer out loud if you'd like. So at this time, are there any questions from our audience today? Any questions from our audience? And I know that I covered quite a bit of information this evening. So if you want to take some time to process the information, review the recording, and reach out to your coast advisor, we can also field questions that way. But we do want to provide an opportunity for any live questions. Ms. Terry wants to know if there are any questions about dual in the school. You'll need to unlock your microphone. It doesn't look like there are any questions tonight. So we're going to move on to our last slide for this evening. And I want to thank you all for attending tonight's session. We hope that it was informative. We know that we tried to pack as much information that was relevant to the application process and benefits of participating in dual enrollment. But we do want your feedback on the I'm sorry, there's a question that just popped up in the chat. Kevin L, before we go to the evaluation, Kevin L wants to know, can students get credit for English 1010 and English 1020? So yes, Kevin, from the college standpoint, students can earn credit for both English 1010 and English 1020. However, PGCPS does not allow for dual credit for both English 1010 and 1020. You can only get dual credit for one of those courses, but you can certainly get that college credit and transfer it to your college or university, or transfer it into your program of study here at Prince George's Community College. Very good question. Thank you, Kevin. Okay. So again, thank you for joining our information session tonight. We have provided a QR code as well as a link in the chat and the description for our evaluation. We do ask that you fill out that evaluation. We do read those responses that come from our program participants. And again, I would like to thank members of the dual enrollment team for assisting in the chat this evening, and a very, very, very special thank you to PGCC TV and its production staff for ensuring that this event was successful. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good night.
Don't let your fears hold you back. Prepare for what's next at Prince George's Community College. Train for the career of your dreams and secure your future. Earn an associate degree or a certificate, then you can start pursuing your passion today.